And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the student's president. This man is one who takes students into the palms of his hand and brings them into his heart and your heart. He is the leader of Illinois State University, and you will get to know him well. Here is President Al Bowman.
Thank you. Steve, thank you very much for that warm introduction. It's good to see all of you here this morning. This town just isn't the same without 21,000 Illinois State University students. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize a very important graduate of the class of 1981. She's a faculty member in communication sciences and disorders. She's the First Lady of Illinois State. She's my wife, Linda Bowman. Would you stand and be recognized? Today, you begin one of life's most exciting and fulfilling experiences, the pursuit of higher education. Your preparation, motivation, and performance thus far have earned you the right to be called an Illinois State University student. With over 4 applicants for every seat in this freshman class, that in and of itself is a significant accomplishment, and you are to be congratulated. We hope you're proud to be part of Illinois' first and finest public university, and I look forward to shaking your hand when you become a graduate of this great institution. We have high expectations of you, and you should have high expectations of Illinois State. During your time here, you'll be tested in many ways. You'll be tested in the classroom and in the laboratory. Your performance will be measured against that of your peers and against your own initiative and potential. You'll also be tested by the opportunities, freedoms, and responsibilities that are part of the university experience. The manner in which you meet the challenges that come with freedoms and responsibilities is critical. Every bit as important as the way in which you prepare for classroom examinations, lab experiments, and research papers. Your professors will grade your academic performance, but only you can truly judge if you've passed life's many other tests. Some students look at a university education as a means to an end, asking how this degree will translate into a career path, and that's certainly part of it. This year, I ask you to hold a much more expanded view of your education. Ask how your experience at Illinois State will help prepare you to function as an independent and engaged citizen in a global environment. Your time at Illinois State will not only prepare you for a career, but also provide a solid foundation for a much more fulfilling life. Along the way, you'll find an outstanding group of faculty and staff members who are eager to challenge you and help you. Each is guided by the mission and vision of our strategic plan, which we call Educating Illinois, and all are bound by its 5 core values: pursuit of learning and scholarship, individualized attention, public opportunity, diversity, and civic engagement. A university with the kind of resources we have offers tremendous opportunities to its students. I encourage you to explore and take advantage of everything this campus has to offer. Ask questions, join organizations, get involved in some of the cultural, athletic, and social activities that are part of the college experience. Finally, and maybe most importantly, I want you to see Illinois State as your home. We want you to make yourself comfortable, and we want you to feel like you're part of a campus family. If your experience is like mine, the first few weeks on campus will be a bit of an adjustment. But once you've settled in, the rough edges will disappear, and you'll begin to immerse yourself in campus life. Congratulations, and best of luck.
Thank you very much, President Bowman. As you join the Illinois State University community today, you too will become a part of its rich history and its proud heritage. This will include taking an active part in our campus traditions and activities. Our Dean of Students, Dr. Janet Patterson, is here to welcome you and to invite you to become a vital part of our traditions and our campus spirit. Dean Patterson.
Good morning and welcome. Your participation in today's ceremony is really the first of many opportunities that you're going to have to celebrate and be a part of Illinois State University. Through your involvement in our traditions, you'll experience really a greater sense of the school spirit and will strengthen your ties to Illinois State. Now, this can occur whether you're helping to build a float during the homecoming parade or having an opportunity to ring the bell at the Founders Day ceremony, perhaps voting in a student government election, attending your residence hall floor meetings, going to a university program board event, or cheering on our Redbirds at an athletic event. These and many other long-standing traditions that you will share, not only with your fellow classmates that are gathered here today, but with those that have come before you and those who will follow you. These are really our common experiences that bind us together as a university community. I'd even encourage you to notice the regalia that those of us here on the platform today are wearing, because with its symbolism, it really demonstrates that we're part of even a larger system of higher education throughout the ages. During your time at Illinois State University, you're going to have a chance to take advantage of lots of programs and services. For example, our Health Promotions and Wellness Unit can assist you in learning about living a healthy lifestyle. We're going to offer you numerous volunteer opportunities that present you with ways to become civically engaged in our community. Joining a registered student organization provides you with the opportunity to practice those theories of leadership and organizational development that you're learning about in your classroom. These, as well as many other programs and services that exist on our campus to really enhance your educational experience. So we encourage you to please take advantage of all of these offerings. Today, I'm going to invite you to become an active part of our community by celebrating our rich heritage, becoming actively involved in our campus life, and demonstrating your school spirit by wearing red and coming out to support the Redbirds. Thank you very much, and again, welcome.
Thank you, Dean Patterson. Today, you join a community devoted to teaching and learning. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Kim Pereira, the Director of the Honors Program at Illinois State University and a Professor of Theater. He will welcome you on behalf of the faculty and staff of Illinois State University. Dr. Pereira.
Did you know they're saying all kinds of things about you? They say that you are the most progressive generation to come along in a while. They say that you are more service-oriented and optimistic than the generation before. They are already making predictions about what you will do and how you will shape this new century. Cyberspace was your amniotic fluid, and you float easily through social networks, embracing group ideas, filtering out whatever doesn't suit your biases, they say. They are building marketing strategies and campaigns designed to influence you and bring you over to their side, whatever their side is. And no wonder, because, they say, your generation will add 4 million voters to the electorate each year, and by 2018, you will comprise almost 40% of the voting public in America. That's how powerful you are, they say. For you are the first generation to come of age in the 21st century, christened by a name that is sleek and shiny and cool. You are the millennials, the children of 1,000 years, custodians of a new century, poised to take flight into hitherto unimagined territories of innovation. I'm just a baby boomer. They also say that you are not deep thinkers, not given to introspection like, for instance, my generation. But that also means that you are unlikely to degenerate, as we did, into navel gazing, and that you are more prone to precise action than endless discussion. In that sense, you are perfectly constructed to find solutions for the ills that beset the world. Perhaps we need less chatter and more doing, less gridlock and more remedies, less noise and more silent deeds. And they say you are genetically built to do just that. When asked what the single problem facing your generation is, with characteristic candor, you cited the bad example of adults. Now, we'd like to think we did a fairly good job with our century. The age of technology and space exploration, the women's movement, civil rights, volunteerism, the fall of colonialism, unprecedented rises in life expectancy and living standards, lasers and fiber optics, cars, telephones and rockets, jazz and rock and roll, Mandela, Mother Teresa, Gandhi and King, Einstein and Hawking. But how can we not be haunted by our failures? We split the atom, which led to nuclear proliferation, leaving a fractured world in its wake. Perfected fast food, even as thousands die slowly of starvation. Visited the moon and ignored 100 villages on Earth. We have today almost 30 ongoing wars and skirmishes all over the globe, which have killed more than 4.6 million people. There are tense relations between nations and races, religious and communal discord, poverty amid unbelievable wealth, athletes on steroids, terrorism around every corner, suicide bombings, ethnic cleansings, global warming, and in the unkindest cut of all, we have left you the legacy of a gargantuan economic crisis caused by greed and indifference. You are right, we are a bad example. This is the way of the world, where each generation is left to pick up the unsavory scraps left behind by its predecessors. It may happen to you as well. So we will put aside our arrogance and say this: if you are indeed all that they say you are, if you are the shining light of this new century, find ways to bridge the chasm stretched between the broken treaties of our century and the glistening promises of yours. Here at the dawn of your adulthood, we plead with you to partner with us to make things right. Look back at the mistakes of the past and teach us the way to a better future. You for whom the world has shrunk and is now accessible in so many ways. You before whom the century stretches with potential. You who they say are more given to action than to mere words. Act now. But first, you must spend the next few years honing your skills, polishing every facet of your personalities, and probing the complex relationships between your fellow beings and your environment. To do that, you may need to ask yourself what education really means. College has become a halfway house between adolescence and adulthood, a vocational institution where we pinpoint what we need to do to fetch the best occupational returns. Do such and such, and you will get this and that. This is part of a larger context of our culture, where we seek immediate gratification and rewards for everything we do. College going is now a finely honed craft which begins with standardized tests. We know what ACT or SAT scores will fetch us in terms of admissions and scholarships. In India and China, there are institutes that prepare millions of students each year for American standardized tests and can virtually guarantee a certain range of scores. Caught in a maelstrom of courses, grades, peer pressures, family pressure, finding internships and jobs, and justifying the exorbitant costs of attending college, we sometimes lose sight of the wonderful opportunities a university offers. Getting an education is lost in the rush to get a degree or a job. Of course, if we get an education along the way. Perhaps it's time to pause for a bit and ask ourselves how we arrived at such a state. When did the idea of a liberal arts education get obfuscated by the demands of a noisy marketplace? What is a liberal arts education? Why do I hear students say about their general education courses, I just want to get them out of the way? When did education get in the way? Why should we treat any learning opportunity as a nuisance to be tolerated in our grand scheme of things? What happened to wisdom and true knowledge, both of which are only acquired after years of ceaseless pursuit, but are unattainable without the foundations laid in our formative years? If we dabble in the superficial aspects of topics, we are doomed never to know the real meaning of the world around us, a world that is gloriously impure, complex, and profound, and full of ambiguities and contradictions. In the cacophony of a modern world, with a million things clamoring for attention, it is easy to get lost amid the constant twitter of voices. It is easy to hold on to the security of what we know and follow paths we have predetermined for ourselves. But this is your time to wander off that path and embrace the myriad opportunities that this university offers you. A broad spectrum of excellent speakers, fine arts events, colloquia, symposia, clubs, organizations around a host of disciplines, and courses that may not be central to your major, but will expand your horizons, force you to look at life differently, take you out of your comfort zones, and make you better educated. And those paths have hundreds of marvelous bylanes and alleys, for life is prismatic as it streams out in front of you in 100 different perspectives. Then only can you say with Robert Frost, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference. Take note of the Student Volunteer Center and Alternative Spring Break to find new ways to reach deep into your communities. Get creative in your research activities so that your work can flow profitably from the classroom into the village. And remember, the first line of the mission of this university describes us as a diverse community of scholars. Those three words are all you need to know about who we are. Diverse, not disparate, a family of individuals and serious people engaged in serious work. When was the last time you read a book that was not prescribed reading for a particular course? How often will you peruse national and international newspapers and journals to get in-depth reflections of complex problems beyond the meager, narrow sound bites of CNN's capsules? Will you sit in a quiet corner of the university with other students and faculty to chat about current events? Why do fine arts students not attend science fairs or research presentations? Do math majors frequent the theater or poetry readings or the symphony or the art gallery? Why are we so isolated in the cubbyholes of our narrow majors or departments when life itself spills over all boundaries and artificial fences? This is what a liberal arts education offers us. 1 million perspectives to help us negotiate our way through the world. Unfortunately, all too often we focus narrowly on individual streams of knowledge without swimming in all the tributaries that swell into a mighty river. A surprising truth is that you could spend 4 years at a university and still not get an education. Just being here guarantees nothing. We can promise very little. The only way is to find it yourself, in the nooks and crannies of this universe. If you will permit a personal note, I'd like to say that one of the more educated persons I know is my mother. 80 years ago, she was born in a world that felt a college education was not necessary for a woman. So she found her own way. She read everything she could get her hands on. 5 years ago, at the age of 75, I found her reading Tolstoy's War and Peace because she said she'd always wondered what it was all about. 4 weeks ago, she found a modern verse translation of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. She told me that years ago she had tried to read it in Middle English, but had found it too confusing. In 20 minutes every day, she finishes a cryptic crossword using a pen, and she spends much of her time traveling the world to see her family. She keeps enough money for her retirement, from her retirement as a manager in an oil company, to buy her own plane tickets, and she has given away the rest of it, and is the most contented person I have ever met. You don't have to go to college to get an education. But if you do, and don't take advantage of such an opportunity, you may live to regret it. We must remember that going to college is a privilege. There still are millions of people denied that chance. I hope many of you will grab at the greatest experience a university offers its students, the chance to spend a semester in another country, to discover that people in cultural contexts so different from ours are, in the final analysis, all engaged in the same magnificent adventure, the pursuit of happiness. Illinois State University has about 1,000 students from 60 different countries. If you look up, you can see them in labs and libraries, on bleachers and benches, in your classrooms and residence halls, and at the next table in our restaurants. Even the fact that I speak of them in the third person suggests how isolated they sometimes are. There's your study abroad opportunity in a microcosm. Chat with them and exchange ideas about culture and politics and even religion, for we are intellectuals seeking a better understanding of our world, and no subject is taboo if approached with love and respect, and every connection is another strand in the variegated tapestry of human relationships. Besides, they are just as curious about your lives as you are about theirs. I can tell you from experience that life in a Midwestern town or on a farm is just as exotic to someone from Japan as are the bazaars of Bombay to you. And remember, if you make lasting friendships with international students, you may never have to live in a hotel as you travel the world. But nothing truly memorable is possible without passion. Unless you care deeply about what you do, why bother? And if you look into yourselves, you can find passion for all your activities. In ages past, passion was a fearful word. It portended the possibility of chaos, and it suggested people out of whack. But passion can be a wonderful thing. It can keep us going when life seems to be falling apart. It allows us to hold on to our goals and dreams, and it reminds us why we embarked on this great journey in the first place. So fill your lives with passion, and you will never descend into angst. As you search through the underbrush of your education for different perspectives, remember that the group Nirvana got its name from an important concept in Buddhism, and that Ashanti is also an African tribe. You will get your fill of rock concerts, but you might find a Shakespeare play or a Mahler symphony just as fulfilling. You may learn the lyrics to the latest Coldplay song, but try reading haiku, the Japanese verse form that offers marvelous insights in just 17 syllables. 4 years from now, when you collect your diploma on this stage, I want to smile with the knowledge that the world will be in better hands. 4 years from now, I want to say to the world, these American sons and daughters are the best ambassadors we can send to you. 4 years from now, I want to stand in your midst and say, I am a better person and a more educated teacher for having known you. And in advance of that, I want to say today, thank you very much.
Truly a powerful, powerful message from Dr. Kim Pereira. You know, as our first-year convocation approaches its conclusion, I invite you to join in your first act of campus tradition and pride. This ceremony will conclude, as you will find at all university ceremonies, with the singing of the university hymn and recessional of the platform party. Following the university hymn and the platform party recessional, I ask that you please remain in your seats for the next portion of today's program. Now, I ask that you please rise and join Colleen Longo as she leads us in the singing of the university hymn. The words will be shown on the screen behind me.
Glory hast thou, might and power, proud the halls of ISU, deeds that live in song and story, loyal sons and daughters true. So shalt thou in years increasing send thy graduates